and sidewalks into cities. We're getting fat, y'all. We need more sidewalks so we have a reliable way to walk where we need to go. I mean, I live really close to a store, and it is completely dangerous to walk there. But I should be able to. I admire cyclists that don't care, or it's not that they don't care, but they are sufficiently confident to cycle in any kind of traffic. I guess you have to build up that kind of confidence, but it's been shown that if you have cycling lanes and sidewalks, pedestrian friendly, cyclist friendly cities and towns, that creates more income for the town. But things are already built, and building things around them is cost prohibitive. I like to know the Korean word for this. I'm sure, I mean, I didn't make it the Korean way, but seaweed just seems really good for my skin. I crave seaweed salad, like the kind they serve at Japanese restaurants. I wish I could get stuff to make that. Oh, I'd eat it all the time. So we've already established that sidewalks and bike lanes are a good thing. But how to get them? Well, anytime you have construction on the road, I'm not the first to think about this, I'm sure. Anytime you have construction on the road, or anytime you have telephone pole replacement, I just saw that on a main street in my town. They went all down this one main street, the biggest street in the town, and they replaced the telephone poles. Because after a while, the trees, the wood starts to rot. You put in sidewalks and bike lanes, because to get the bike lanes in, or the sidewalks, first of all, let's talk about sidewalks. To get that in, you have to move the telephone poles if the telephone pole is in the way. Which is very expensive. Anytime you talk about improvement to infrastructure, everyone's like, but how's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it? Not me. I don't want to pay for it. Well, the cost is already there. And also, all these new subdivisions that are being built, and urban sprawl, I hate urban sprawl. That's a different issue. They started from scratch. So you cut down all the trees, you take out all the undergrowth, the grasses, the sedges, the flowers, and you have this bare ground, and then you build subdivision, cul-de-sac, oh, this is really good. I'm really pleased. It has seaweed. It just says dried seaweed on the packet. Shoot. That's what I use. It doesn't have English name on it. It has some English on there, but it doesn't have English name of what kind of seaweed. It just says dried seaweed. So I can't look up a real recipe to know how to make it the right way. Oh, where was I? So you have this blank slate, and they build houses. A lot of them look cookie cutter, and there's no sidewalks. There's no sidewalks in this brand new, spanking new neighborhood. And if you want to suddenly change your mind or realize that it's a good idea to have a place for your kids to walk safely and to walk your dog safely and to move your butt that you sit all day in an office safely, you have to move the mailboxes. You have to cut into the driveway. You have to knock down some old lady's flowers. These contractors just want to build things as fast as possible and charge as much as possible. Radish, daikon. It's without the dye. The food coloring that's in a lot of daikon. Mommy Tang says it's better. And I've agreed with Mommy Tang with like 100%, well, 99% of things. I'm always being begged to play fetch, even when I'm eating. I mean, I choose to do this, but I wish my border collie was not such a hard worker. She just thinks it's her job, constantly working. You know, it bothers some people to say, we call the people that call their pets babies, which I don't really a lot. I don't consider them like my children, but my parents started calling them their grandbabies. So I just let them. I never said they were my children, my babies. But it bothers parents in particular. I'm like, get a life. They're under my care. And are you so literal and everything else when it comes to behaviors and family dynamics? Like when you're going off to see your affair on the side, and she says, "Daddy, Daddy." You don't say, "Hey, I'm not your biological father." Okay. Sorry, sir. Or your wife. Or your girlfriend. Or someone you're just hooking up with. Calls you daddy during that intimate situation that people like to do. I thought parents were so busy. I thought parents were all so stressed. They have time to complain about people who don't have kids calling their pets babies. And by the way, people who take care of pets, people who have pets, pet caretakers, pet owners, what you will. Since most of the people in the world have children, most pet takers have children too. And many of those parents still consider their pets to be their responsibility. So chill out, lady. Mommy, go have your mommy juice. Daddy, go like hang some sheetrock. It's non-productive to complain about. The synonyms people call their pets. It is productive to eat Korean food. She puts it on my lap. It's amazing. If I had known border collies were like that, well, I mean, my pets are rescue, of course. I will never buy from a puppy mill or a breeder. But in the future, if I had known border collies were so demanding when it comes to their care needs, I would have opted for a different rescue. But it wasn't like that. It wasn't like we went to a shelter and we adopted her. Someone just had her show up at their house and they didn't know she had no collar. And we decided to take her. But, oh, don't get me wrong. Border collies were great. Their personality. It's the greatest personality. She's the sweetest dog in the world. They want everyone to pet them. They love strangers. They don't bark. I can't stand barky dogs. My other little dog, he's like, I don't know what he is. Mr. Sprinkles, he's a little dog. He's a little barky. But it's only to alert. It's only when the door gets knocked on. He's not constantly rah, 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 at every little thing. So he's a good guard dog. And he is also friendly with strangers. You know how a lot of little dogs are just jealous and possessive of one person? He's jealous, but he's also very friendly with strangers and loves them. Well, I know you don't want to see me eat all this. I'm not sure I have anything else to talk about. But my main thing was bike lanes. And I know if you're a cyclist, you have access to the road. But even though I know we need more people to cycle, I don't like being stuck behind them. And I'm always afraid I'm going to hit them. I'm very aware, constantly on the lookout. I shouldn't eat that cucumber with my hands. Forgot. For adults who say they don't know how to use chopsticks, you just have to use them. If you're more comfortable in privacy, in private, practice there. if a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old in Asia can use them, or here, wherever, you can use them. I meet so many adults that say they can't eat with sticks. You could if you practiced. You could if you were hungry. You know that scene from Kill Bill where Uma Thurman has like her hand really messed up and she's all from training martial arts really hard, and her sensei won't let her eat rice with her hands because it's undignified. So she figures out how to eat with chopsticks. I know it's fictional, but this is super low calorie. It's a lot of food, but it's low calorie. So who needs calories anyway? I don't. I have stored calories. I try to tell my body, you have stored calories. You don't need calories. Please listen. Please don't send out these hunger signals. No, my body just thinks it's always starving. I won't use my stored calories. I practice calorie restriction for longevity purposes. Because every single animal or bacteria or yeast cell that has undergone experiments or have studied calorie restrictions in those animals, there's reversal of aging. I know it's not pleasant. Oh, by the way, it's probably not worth it for humans. We will never be able to do trials on humans because you can't calorie restrict someone their entire life and see how long they live. But anyway, it's only effective mostly for significantly extending life with smaller animals. Smaller, shorter-lived species like mice and rats. The reason is, if you're a shorter-lived species, like a yeast cell, you have less of a time window to do your reproduction. So any sort of environmental stress that happens, like famine, the fittest, the adaptation would be to select for those that can withstand longer periods of deprivation. But humans are already a long-lived species compared to other species. So the positive effects from calorie restriction is likely minimal. But there's length of life and then there's length of healthy life. We are living longer, but most of that length of life is spent in ill health and frailty. And that is what calorie restriction, according to the data, suggests will help. Alright, I'm not going to keep rambling. I'm very long-winded. I'll finish this later. Bye!